Okay, good evening, everybody. I call this public meeting of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors to order on Thursday, September 12th at 6:31 p.m. Welcome. I would like to remind our community that the purpose of our board meetings is to conduct the business of the district first and for everyone to learn about the district in a safe and productive manner. So we are going to get started first with community comments. Community comments are an opportunity for our community to share their ideas and opinions with the board. Input is welcomed and valued. It is our duty to keep it safe and respectful for everyone, students, staff, and our community. This is not a time for discussion or debate. If you hello. Oh. Hello, hello, hello. We can roll with it and see if it, yeah. If you have materials for the board, please give them to the board secretary, who will distribute them to the board members after the meeting. Okay. We're just experiencing some sound issues up here, but we're going to try our best. Letters to the board are always welcome, and each of us reads the input. Requests for information should be requested as outlined in policy KBA-AR. Number one, any individual desiring to speak will have indicated their desire prior to the board meeting. Two, an individual with a disability will be given an equal opportunity to participate in board meetings. This may include someone speaking on their behalf if their disability or other medical needs limits their ability to attend in person. Board policy also speaks to accommodations available. Three, a speaker will be required to give their full name, city of residence, and group, if any, that is represented. If there are more patrons desiring to present comments than time allowed, the board chair has the authority to reduce the presentation time for individual speakers or institute a prioritization process with first priority to students and city of residence. Four, speakers may offer objective criticisms of district operations and programs that are of a concern to them. The board is restricted from hearing and will not consider complaints regarding any individual district staff member or any person connected with the district. Comments that make a staff member identifiable to the public, even without their specific name, violate the policy. And five, as an organization centered around youth and their positive development, all speakers will model respectful public comment and be mindful of civil discourse. And now I will welcome our first, our first speaker. Let's see, Jackie Armbruster. If you are here, please come up. Okay. No, and not online either. Okay. So we are going to go to the next agenda item, which is our native land acknowledgement. And Vice Chair Benaloga.
We acknowledge the land on which we sit and which we call the North Clackamas School District rests on the traditional and indigenous lands and village sites of the native peoples of the Kalapuya, Chinook, Malala, and the Clackamas. We take this opportunity to offer gratitude for the ability to learn, work, and be a community on this land. And we offer thanks to the original caretakers of this region. We recognize the historic policies of colonization, genocide, relocation, and assimilation that affected Indigenous and Native families, both past and present, and that will affect those in the future. And we honor the resilience and revitalization of our Indigenous and Native communities. We pay our respects to the elders, both past and present, who have been the stewards of this land for generations.
Thank you, Vice Chair Benaloga. And now, board members, will you stand as Director Bauer will lead the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. So in our board packet, you will find the minutes of the August 22nd, 2024 meeting of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Vice Chair?
Chairway, I move approval of the August 22nd, 2024 meeting minutes of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors.
Is there a second?
McVeigh, second.
Okay, properly moved by Vice Chair Benaloga and seconded by Director McVeigh. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all those that oppose, please say no. Okay, the motion passes with a vote of 6. Thank you. And Donna, do we have Director Kemp joining? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. And for folks in the room, Director Kemp is calling in. So if you hear a voice on the above, it's Director Kemp. Okay, we're going to move us along. Consent agenda. So in the board packet, you will find the consent agenda for this evening's meeting. The items on the consent agenda are employment changes and the North Clackamas School District 2025-2026 budget calendar. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Director Bauer?
Chairway, I move approval of the consent agenda, which includes employment changes and North Clackamas School District 2025-26 budget calendar.
Is there a second?
Dobson, second.
Okay, properly moved by Director Bauer and seconded by Director Dobson. I call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those that oppose, please say no. Okay, the motion passes with a vote of 6-0. Thank you. And next up, I am pleased to have our superintendent, James, give her report as well as the new administrator introductions.
Yes, so thank you. Good evening. And I am excited to share another successful launch of our school with you tonight. So going to be sharing some information. And also need to say that we've just had so many staff involved in making this a successful launch to the new school year. So just wanted to say thank you to the staff, and we certainly could not have done it with everybody that was, without everybody that was involved. And I will be sharing initial information with you tonight, but please know that we will be coming back to the board with more thorough information over the next couple months. These are just kind of highlights for you this evening. So this year, what you will see is our theme is putting the puzzle pieces of our strategic plan together. And you know that we relaunched our renewed strategic plan 3 years ago. And the first year was really a implementation year. Last year, we focused on our core values. And this year, we're putting it all together with our 4 strategic points. So people and culture, resource and services, family and community collaboration, and student experience and success. So you can expect to see these highlighted, one of these highlighted in our district each quarter throughout the year. And we will be starting with people and culture, which has already launched. So student experience and success is a part of putting the pieces together for strong outcomes for students, as you know. And for many of our students, this involves summer school. So we're very happy to say that we've served 168 students, K-2, including bilingual students who focused on literacy instruction and STEAM activities, including post-summer literacy strategies that parents could do with their children at home. So that was a piece that was added this year that was great for our families. We also had many of our secondary students and others involved in summer school as well. And our summer school leads will be coming back to you, presenting more thoroughly on our summer program and giving you a review of what that looked like coming up here in the next couple of months. Dr. Dibley and I, our assistant superintendent, we had the chance to visit our kindergarten exploration program prior to the start of school. And kindergarten exploration allows students to experience collaboration, sharing, purposeful play, and they also spent time getting some of those wiggles out. So we have a just short video of what we got to see when we were in there and do with. So as you can imagine, it was just pure joy as we were in that classroom. And we really want to acknowledge and are just so grateful for the teachers such as Summer Smith, who you saw in the video, and the team who are involved with our kinder exploration and keep coming back year after year to do that. And so her work, like the work of so many others around our school district, provide a solid foundation and successful launch for many of our new coming students. So we're really proud of that. And we're also proud to say that we are currently offering at least one kinder exploration opportunity at each one of our school sites and 2 at our title school. And we know we need more and hoping to expand that in the future as well. There we go. That's okay. Again, thank you to so many of our staff for working hard to have school up and running and ready to receive our students. We welcomed back our district leadership team in early August and our classified and our certified staff mid to late August. And our time together was really framed in instructional leadership, our high five strategies, climate, and relationships, and aligning to our strategic points, specifically starting with people and culture. So in welcoming a new school year, we excitedly welcomed back a little more than 17,000 students, so that's up from last year, which I'll talk about in a second, and over 2,000 staff and many families. And here in these pictures, you see our dual language immersion and our math and our literacy institutes. You see nutrition services and transportation, professional development that was happening, and so much more as they were preparing in the month of August to get going. In addition, we launched a successful new teacher orientation with upwards of 140 plus new teachers attending. Last year, we had a little over 100, so we were up in that area as well. And as I shared, we hosted a 2-day DLI Literacy Math Institute, and we put into motion high leverage instructional practices for all content areas. And so as you can see in this picture, there's lots of excitement around the beginning of the school year. And I want to draw your attention to the middle picture there, in which Tammy and her team are responsible. And what you see is our newest t-shirt that says, "I love math." And we are really trying to establish a culture here that we believe that all students and all adults can do math in our district. And so Donna has a t-shirt to show you what it looks like, and we have one for each of you as well before you leave. So thank you to Tammy and team for that. We have shared a great deal with you over the last couple of years about our instructional focus, as Dr. Dibley has led that with our team, and it continues to be steeped in the high five strategies. And this year, we're moving forward with collaborative learning and feedback practices. In the middle, you'll see here, we're also really working on climate and looking to have supportive learning environments with clear structures for our students so that they know what those expectations are and what they're walking into in each of our classrooms. And then in addition to that, we continue to prioritize our student wellness. And so that's what you see in the last column here. This year, we kicked off convocation with attention to our strategic plan and our 4 points, as I shared. And I do want to publicly thank our communications team for this exceptional work. They really do such a good job of bringing our strategic plan to life and helping us really learn these concepts and keeping them in our head. And this year, like last year, we centered students in our convocation. So you see them on the bottom left of the slide, and they participated in helping us to define our strategies through a game of strategery, much like Jeopardy, as you can imagine. And so that was really exciting in them helping us to understand how we live up to our 4 points on our strategic plan. And our students are inspiring, and I look forward to continuing the work while keeping students at the center. And we welcomed back staff. And of course, we could not let a year go by without what is now our annual T-shirt. And so Donna's putting that up for you. And this year's T-shirt says "Small pieces make up the big picture." And so if you haven't received your T-shirt yet, you will receive that before you leave tonight, because you are also a part of our team. And we have a small video of each of our departments with their T-shirts on. So we'll show that. So that's kind of fun. And our transportation department met before they had gotten their T-shirts and took their pictures. So they used last year's T-shirts, and we'll get an updated one of them as well in their new ones at some point. So as I shared, currently enrollment is up. As of September 9th, we had 17,190 students enroll. And I want to say that this is prior to us withdrawing any no-shows that have come. So this will not be our final numbers here. And from the numbers that you see here are from the close of last year. Elementary is down over 100 students, with first grade down approximately 135. The lower number at the elementary was not unexpected. We knew that we were going to be having a bubble that was going to be moving to the middle school as well. Middle school is up 115 students, with sixth grade up 140 students. High school is up 450 students, with 12th graders up 270, and our charters have remained fairly stable with their up about 30 students. So I will say again, these numbers will probably change drastically, and our team will be back in October to give you clear information on enrollment and class sizes by schools and share where we are maybe having some difficulties or not. But we are in the process of adding FTE. We just added 4 FTE at the elementary level. I'm looking at Dr. Dibley to, I think it was 4 or 5 at the elementary, 5, thank you, at the elementary to lower some key class sizes. And then we've added 2 at Nelson, I can tell you, and we're looking at a couple others as well. We continue to support families with our preschool programs. We're hosting 10 Head Start classrooms this year. Our Oak Grove preschool is now full with a waiting list. And we have some exciting news about Saban Schellenberg Preschool has now launched into a full-time, full-day program. So before that was a little bit less than a half a day, so that's exciting as well. And then as we launched our kindergarten gradual entry this year, one of the things that we added was a online welcome for our families, and we had over 100 families that attended that. And so that was something that was a great experience as well. As you know, our care team works really hard with Natalie Whistler as the director, who just truly works tirelessly to serve the needs of our community. As we know, we have a daycare desert here, and she is constantly trying to figure out how we can support more students. This year, they did open up a new care site at Vern Duncan with 95 slots. We added 20 slots at Linwood for the care site. So we currently have 680 elementary students enrolled in before and after school care. We do still have a wait list of 155, and that is down from last year. It was 171. And we are seeing an increase in our scholarship fund request as well. As you can see here, it's about 30% at this time. And it is something that we're going to have to look at in terms of being able to balance cost and need moving forward. In addition to care for our elementary, we have after-school programs that are up and running through our 21st Century Community Learning Grant at Lot Whitcomb Elementary, Rao, and New Urban School, serving 400 students total. And we do have some other after-school programs in addition at our middle school. All 4 of our middle schools will have some kind of after-school program, and so we're still getting those up and running, and will look different at each of the schools. As of September 10th, we had hired or had internal transfers for 216 licensed staff and 158 classified. We're excited to welcome 14 new administrators who I will introduce shortly. And then in addition to that, here you can see where our current vacancies are that we have open. You're going to see some of these vacancies that maybe have a little bit of larger numbers are due to program extensions, and so we're trying to get more folks here than we have had in the past, and I'll talk about one example in a minute. Compared to prior years, I would say we are in fantastic shape, and I could not be more thankful to our human resources department and staff who have put us in a position this year to be in a really good space. So thank you, Michelle, and your team for that. Our operations team, headed up by our new Teresa Neff Webster, they are up and running with a new work order system that rolled out that will help with efficiencies and tackling issues. And I just want to say this is a really big deal that this year all of our North Clackamas schools that serve breakfast and lunch will serve both meals at no cost to all students in those schools. And so there's a perfect example. You saw we had 12 openings for nutrition services. This is new and something that we're navigating as we go, but our team has a plan and they're making it work. But we're really excited about our students being able to get meals at no cost. I will also say that I hope that you're seeing improvements around our grounds across our district. They have been working tirelessly trying to get our grounds into shape and really creating systems for ongoing year-round maintenance. So that's something that they have taken on. And then our safety services team continues to work with schools in creating well-prepared environments for students and staff. And so they've been making the rounds, making sure our schools are safe as we welcome back students. And of course, as you see the picture, our award-winning transportation department hit the ground running, and they're off to a great start and staffed fairly well. But I really want to particularly thank them, our drivers, to their commitment to our students. Last week when we had some really extreme heat and weather, and we had some buses that had extreme temperatures of 117, upwards of 117 degrees on our buses, and our bus drivers really continue to have positive attitudes. They had popsicles, they had ice packs, cooling rags for kids, and all the things that you can imagine. And I didn't hear one complaint from any transportation staff. They just did what they do for kids. So thank you for that. And hats off to our business department again for earning the Certificate of Excellence in Transparency and High Quality Financial Reporting. I think since I've been at North Clackamas, they have gotten this award every year and continue to get it. And I think it's a testament to the work that our business department does. And I think you'll hear that in our financial quarterly report as well as Matt will be reporting tonight. And our communications teams brought home a few awards of their own this year. And so they are one of 3 districts nationwide that was honored for our NCSD podcast series. And they were also awarded for our North Star Awards and our 5 on Fridays with myself. And I'm certainly not the creator of that. I just show up and do what I'm told from Curtis, and it comes out. Sometimes you're all right. So shout out to our departments for these awards, and I think it just shows the quality of what we have. And we did have a new podcast that came out today on the extreme heat, so that's a great one for folks to listen to. And as you know, we have moved into cell phone free spaces this year, and we promise that we will come back with a full and updated report on the rollout to you soon on how this has gone. But in the meantime, I have been receiving a lot of positive emails. I know that there's a few out there of folks that aren't happy, but the majority of what we have received has been incredibly moving as I have read these emails. And there's 2 quotes that I would like to highlight with you today, and I'm going to read them. And I haven't put the whole email in, but I think this gets to the essence. Today was, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, revolutionary. I could recount for you countless conversations with teenagers who mentioned that they now felt they were going to get better grades, or that they felt relief when they locked their pouches, or that they enjoyed actually talking to their friends during the passing period instead of scrolling through posts, or just said thank you for doing something that they themselves were not able to do. And that was a quote that came from Greg Harris, our principal at Nelson High School. So I see Kelly Rhea, who's also been a big champion of this in our audience, so thank you. And then I received this one from a high school English teacher, and I didn't ask him permission if I could use his name, so I put high school English teacher. And he said, this no phone thing is awesome. I had an incredible day teaching. In all of my time teaching freshmen, I have never had this much positive engagement with the lesson. So I just wanted to also say thank you to you for walking this walk with us. And we can already see the difference that it's making from kids, that they're telling us that it's making a difference for them. And we'll be back to you with an update on that soon. And last, but certainly not least, we, as I mentioned, have 14 new administrators this year. And I keep telling them that we are so grateful that they chose to work in North Clackamas School District. We're pretty lucky at the new administrators that joined our team. They're talented, They're student-centered, and our students are going to reap the benefit from their knowledge and skills. And so I want to take a moment and introduce you to them first through the video, and then I'm going to have them each stand up and say who they are and what site when we're done. And I will warn you before you watch this video from our award-winning communications department that if you know this song, you may date yourself. Just say that. As you can see, Curtis he wrote the lyrics and sang with some backup from Brian McGrew. So pretty awesome. And Teresa has become known as the 3,000-mile employee. So people are remembering her that. If you're new and you're here tonight or a new position, can you stand up? And we'll just, you can all stand up, and once you introduce yourself and say where you are, then you can have a seat. And how about we'll start with Kelly, you've been here for a while, but you can share what you're doing now.
Chelsea, I don't, and I am the principal at the
Awesome.
Sarah Jones, the new principal at Female Hill.
And you guys can sit once you say your name so we can see everybody.
Katrina Edwards, principal at Burn Duncan. Max Whitehouse, principal at Morgan Trail. Sasha Shaw, assistant principal at Lakewood Sojourner, and Arden Wall.
Blake Palmer, facilities operations supervisor.
Karina Eric, assistant principal at Elder Creek. I guess I'm gonna go like this.
Chris Silvers, proud principal of Alden Creek.
Training Noah, employee service manager for payroll benefits department.
So thank you for being here. You are welcome to stay with us, and I also know you're busy and have an early morning, and you are welcome to leave at any time during this. So thank you for introducing, and I know our board is happy to have met you, so appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, Superintendent James. I know that we have some questions, perhaps for your comments, but before some of the new folks leave, I just want to, again, thank you. Thank you so much. I know, you're like, wait, I'm not letting you off the hook quite easily yet, but I just want to say thank you so much for choosing our district. I'm sure that you can go anywhere that you like, but you chose North Clackamas to be your school and home community. So just from just the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure all of our other board members, I just want to extend thank you and deep gratitude to you all. And I'm sure we'll see you back in our boardroom for presentations and other things that you'll be giving throughout the year. But I just wish you a safe and a happy start to school year. So thank you. Board members, we do have time on our agenda for reflections or questions or just praises to Superintendent James and her team for just a wonderful recap of back to school. So I just want to see if anyone have questions or comments that they'd like to share. Director McVeigh.
I just have a question. So when do you think we would start socializing boundary changes in the east side, in particular Nelson and Clackamas?
Ooh, yeah, right. When you say, you mean because of overcrowding, is that what you're talking?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's something that we're looking at. I think when we're looking at our forecasting numbers overall, we're fairly stable over the next 10 years. We're looking at maybe upwards of 100 to 100 students. It's not a ton, but what we know is the places where we're going to see growth are Nelson, Beatrice Moore, Kennedy, Scouters, right over there in the 172nd corridor. So I think that we're going to have to take a look and see if we're, at what point are we going to need to look at boundaries, or do we look at maybe one or two school shifts feeder, right? Like what schools go into the feeder, and so maybe may not be a wholesale look, but where that is for. And right now we're managing. We just put portable out on Beatrice Morrow Kennedy as well, and so we'll have to make that decision of when.
Yeah, Director Bauer.
Thank you, Chairway. Thank you for the report and all the information. And I want to congratulate staff on, I can't read my writing, on all the new care program. What else did I write down? Business awards, communication awards. Oh, and filling all the vacancies. Yeah, almost all of them. Yeah, it's very positive. So thank you for all that hard work. I know that goes on all the time. There was one slide where you said under operations, there was incident IQ work order system. Is that new? And what is that? What is IQ?
It is new, and actually, if I can have you go to the microphone and talk a little bit, she will be much more knowledgeable.
Okay.
I can tell you it's a work order system.
Oh, okay.
Hello, thank you for the question. So Incident IQ is a platform, and so it's a work order system that now our facilities team and our technology team are both employing, and it's a much more efficient way for staff who are in schools or in departments to put in a work order system, and then those teams to actually quickly see what the issue is, respond to it. And it also has a very robust reporting system so that we can pull how we're doing, what is the time it takes to look at a ticket, complete a ticket, close a ticket, and also what are the associated costs, which is very important, which we didn't have previously. So Incident IQ is the actual platform name that we use.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Sounds good. And I know you'll talk more about, I was just surprised at the decrease in students in elementary. But like you said, there's areas of big growth, and I see that out there. But then there's other areas where there aren't. So I know more will come on that. So thank you.
Director Dobson.
Thank you, Chairway. Yes, I have a whole bunch of chicken scratch questions here, so let me parse through them. My first one, I think, is for Curtis. Who went up on the harmony? You or Brian?
That's right. I didn't think I needed any help.
Oh. Well, that was fantastic. You are a treasure. That was a lot of fun. Okay, so one of my questions, I'm so happy to see that the hiring has gone so well, and that we're starting from a good place. And on the issue of the nutrition services expansion, I just wanted to ask, because I know it's kind of a notoriously difficult position to fill, how the hiring for that is going.
Hello, thank you for the question. So our partners at Chartwells have been doing extensive kind of canvassing of our current employees to network with their communities to reach out and try and garner more applicants. And we're also going to the site-specifics schools that we need the hiring for, talking to those specific principals about their needs and their community kind of resources. So we're really trying to target specific schools where we need the staffing to ensure that we're getting community members who are close to the schools to apply.
Okay. And so we're at about how many positions left to fill?
I believe off the top of my head, we have 12 that are left, but we have some that are in the pipeline for hiring as well.
Okay.
Michelle said 14 total.
Yeah.
So what are we doing in the meantime to handle what I'm sure is enormous uptick in nutrition service to the students that already started last week?
Yes, it's a great question. So a combination of having our current staff work with each other and support with each other, and Chartwells has a way of having their supervisors come and support as well. So there's a tiered way of structuring the supports in-house, and then also just really evaluating day-to-day how they're doing.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
My other question, I'm just jumping around because I scribbled notes on all the different topics, is I was so happy to hear about our very successful summer school program, but I wondered if there was a waiting list for summer school and if we know what that number was.
I am not sure if there was a wait list. I think it would depend on what level we were looking at, but we will make sure that we have that information for you when we bring the presentation to you on summer school.
Okay, thank you. And then my last question, I think, for today is, the Oak Grove preschool. So we had talked, I think, last year about it, got a little tour, and we're eager to know if there were expansion plans. So with it now being open, I'm just curious if we're still talking about expanding that preschool plan and what the barriers are.
Yeah, and I'm going to look to you to fill in any holes that I am missing. But I will say, yes, we are looking down the road to expand. There are a lot of logistics and making sure that we're able to provide transportation. There were some collective bargaining, things that we had to get through that I think we've mostly been able to navigate. And really, there's some funding components. And so originally that was a grant fund that got us up and running. We'll have to look and see if the grant is still available in the next couple of years. I know that they did ask us the very next year to start one, but we were not able to, given that we had some staffing gaps and some transportation concerns and some other pieces at that time. So is there anything that you would add to that?
I would say that one of the things that we need to understand is where we are in the list under the Preschool Promise Grant. So one of the things that we had to do is we had to skip a year before we were eligible to apply again. And last year they had asked us, despite the fact that we didn't skip the year. So we just need to understand what is the process, where are we in the line, are we available, are we able to apply for the grant again? And then, as Dr. James has said, we just need to make sure that we're understanding what the location is, where is it that we're targeting to ensure that that flawless kind of transition.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Benaloga?
Yes, thank you. And thank you again for the presentation and for Curtis's never ending creativity. I love it. I did have just two quick questions, and I apologize if I have heard this and I forgot. You mentioned that you added STEM because we lost the art program. It said on a slide. So did we lose the art program because of staffing or funding? I guess oh,
Thank you. The instructor was not able to do the program with us this year. So instead of losing an opportunity, we wanted to make sure that we enrich that opportunity through STEAM activities. So we actually worked with the ESD. We were able to do hands-on activities. We kept, that enrichment aspect of summer school for our students, and it was highly successful.
excellent. Thank you. And just one other question. Is Kinder Exploration, is that Ready, Set, Go? Is that one and the same thing, or are those two different things?
Two different things, and I'll
Okay.
let you talk about
I would love to know a little bit more then about what that is and what the difference is with Ready, Set, Go.
I'm not well versed at Ready, Set, Go, I must admit. I can definitely get you that information. With Kinder Exploration, we did try to do the double classrooms at every school. This year, staffing is always an issue, so that's very hard for us, but we are definitely going to ensure, as Dr. James said earlier, that we keep 2 classrooms for our Title I programs, our schools in our Title I programs, and then ensuring that we have a classroom in all our other elementary schools.
All right, thank you. And again, thank you and congratulations on a wonderful start to the year, and I look forward to hearing more.
Thank you.
Thank you, board members. And Director Kemp, who's on the phone, just wanted to make sure if you have any questions, if you'd like to ask them.
No, I had a hard time hearing some of the presentations, so I'll hold on to questions.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Director McVeigh.
There was an acronym STOIC, and I don't remember seeing that before.
Yes.
And I liked the phrasing, and so I'd like to hear a little bit
It
more
is a
about that.
great framework that we have really been working with. That's been an amazing resource for our folks, but I'll let Dr. Dibley talk about that.
Yeah, Director McVeigh, we heard a lot about the ever-changing complexities of student behavior and what our teachers in our classrooms were experiencing, what our students needed. So there was a group of about 20 of us that attended the Safe and Civil Schools conference that was held. It's a national conference that was held here in Portland this summer. And through that work, through that conference, we learned about this wonderful framework. We decided we wanted to go ahead and bring it to our administration. So actually during our instructional leadership team meeting in August, we brought one of the consultants, and what it stands for is the S is structure. So we want to create structures for students so that they're predictable. We know that structure is good for students. It is important for all adults to teach expectations, so we need to be clear. We can't make assumptions about what kids know or what they should know. If we want to see it, we need to teach it. So that is a part of it. Observation, so we need to take data. If it's not working or if kids are not behaving the way that we need to, then we need to look back and say, do we have the structures in place? Did we teach appropriately? And so it kind of leads you through that process. Interacting positively, obviously, the more you focus on positive behavior, the more you see it. If you're focusing on punitive things or other behavior, then that's what you're going to get. So it's really about ensuring that we're interacting positively with students and then correcting fluently. Because often we think that just because we're interacting positively or we're working on restoring relationships, that we're not actually correcting behavior. And yes, we are correcting behavior, but we need to do it in a way that kids learn, because just like reading and math, behavior is something you learn, and it is something that there are skills that need to be taught. So we're really focusing on that. As we kicked off the new year, we asked all of our administrators to just focus on the S and the T. So creating structures, creating that vibe of what is it that we want to see in our schools, and then how are we teaching those expectations to students. And that was a K-12 expectation. Thank you so much, everyone. And I also just want to express my gratitude and thanks for a really great presentation and also just a smooth start to the school year. Just a couple of things as a board member, and it's been mentioned in some of the slides, but I continue to think about our strategic plan that we have in place and just having that be the North Star of all of the work that we do, our mission, our vision, our values, and of course, having the superintendent and her wonderful team of talented administrators who get to implement that plan every day is something that I look forward to continuing to support, but also know that sometimes we have to pivot and we have to be nimble and flexible. As many folks know, things can change overnight. So I appreciate the adaptability that many of you have to do with changing things around and dealing with so many different situations and circumstances that might come either every week or even every hour, depending on what is happening. So again, thank you so much. And this is the beginning. And so we will absolutely hear more from schools and administrators about all of the great work and programs that they're doing. So thank you. All right, so next up on our agenda, we have our Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month proclamation. And Director Bauer, will you please begin reading the proclamation?
Thank you, Chairway. Whereas each year the United States observes National Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating the culture, heritage, and countless contributions of those whose ancestors were indigenous to North America, as well as those who came from Central and South America, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Spain, and
Whereas what began in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under President Johnson and was expanded by President Reagan in 1988 to cover a 30-day period starting on September 15 and ending on October 15.
Whereas this year's theme, Pioneers of Change, Shaping the Future Together, invites us to celebrate Hispanic heritage and to reflect on how great our tomorrow can be if we hold onto our resilience and hope. And
whereas, although too numerous to recognize individually by name, Hispanic and Latino individuals serve as civil rights leaders and community organizers, politicians, soldiers, educators, journalists, first responders, pioneers in art and science, healthcare professionals, athletes, inventors, entertainers, and so much more. And
whereas Hispanic and Latino individuals continue their rich history of significant and diverse contributions to the cultural, educational, economic, and political vitality of our communities.
thank you. Is there a motion to approve the proclamation?
Chair, I move approval that the board adopt the proclamation recognizing September 15 through October 15, 2024 as Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month in North Clackamas School District.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Benaloga, second.
Thank you. Now I call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those, thank you. All those that oppose, please say no. And the motion passes with a vote of 6-0. And I apologize, I forgot to do a discussion on this. And so, if I may, is there any discussion? And we have Director Bauer.
well, thank you, Chairway. Yes, I'd like to say a few things, and I'm honored to talk about this group. There were 62 million Hispanic Latinos in the United States in 2021, accounting for approximately 19% of the total U.S. population. And surprisingly, that's very close to our school district. We have 20% from the last student report that was online. We celebrate Hispanic Latino culture and traditions through their food, dance, families, beliefs, and many more. I recently read the word that we celebrate, and their culture needs to be felt. And I've observed that, having many friends and attending that they've included me in some of their celebrations. But I'm reminding people of the long history of Latino and Hispanic culture in America. Latino and Hispanic history is American history. Latino history is what is now in United States, goes back to even before the early Spanish colonization. As part of the largest ethnic group in the United States, Latinos and Latinas have significantly contributed to the nation's identity and have played a vital role in shaping American culture and building our country. They have made immense contributions, as we mentioned, through many fields, from Cecilia Cruz, Roberto Clemente, Sonia Sotomayor, and Lin-Manuel Miranda. Their influence is undeniable. I remember back in the 60s and 70s, Cesar Chavez and his work as a labor activist. And I also observed, even after the work that he did, years ago, I taught 1 year in California, in Blythe, California, and many of my students came in late. They were working a shift in the morning, and their parents worked many shifts, or their family moved with the crops. I had them in the fall, and I tested them in math. They moved on. They came back. I had to test them again in math, and they were always being tested. So things are not always the same for every group. There's many environments where they weren't welcome, and I observed that. I observed that through our district, though, we provide many supports and try to be as consistent with our equity stance, that we partner collaboratively with families and community to deepen cultural understanding, build positive relationships, and hold high expectations. Overall, though, uphold safety. Am I on here? Yeah. Okay. Uphold safety, respect, and care in each of these spaces. So I have observed the affinity groups that we have, family engagement specialists. I'm proud of that work. I'm proud of the work that we've had done through the parents that so bravely speak up and come to schools and go down to Salem and speak up for not just their child and the programs they need, but all children. So I have learned a lot through our Hispanic community. I have felt their love, and I look forward to shaping our future together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Bauer, and beautifully, beautifully said. Okay, and now I can move to the official statement. So, since we voted, so now, therefore, be it resolved that the North Clackamas School District hereby proclaims September 15th through October 15th, 2024, as Hispanic and Latino Heritage Month, and encourage all residents to honor the rich diversity of the Hispanic and Latino communities and celebrate the many ways they contribute to our nation and society. Adopted this 12th day of September 2024. Thank you, board. Okay, now we are going to move along to give our board reports. And this is really an opportunity for board members to report their activities within the school district for either this month or the prior month. And I will call on each board member. I don't like doing that, but I think for the purposes of keeping everything organized, I will call your name. And if you would like to share some or all of the things that you were able to participate in, you have some time to do that today. So we're going to start with Director Bauer.
Thank you, Chair Wade. I'll start with open houses. There were several that last week in August. And since I'm a little more flexible with time being retired, I attended Milwaukee, El Punte, Happy Valley Middle School, Spring Mountain, Sojourner, Whitcomb Elementary, Scouters, and Sunrise. I loved this part of the job, meeting people, but seeing and witnessing the excitement by the staff and the students and the families and how welcoming everyone was. You can just feel the excitement for learning. So thank you they all had different formats. And I'll just mention one story. When I was at Happy Valley Middle School, I think Assistant Principal Jason Bolt, he had a table with the pouches there. And he was explaining to parents, and Director Benaloga and I were there together, and we were just watching the parents and listening, and they had some good questions. There was no negative feelings. There was, and then I sidled over to one parent and I said, "So, what do you think?" And she said, "My son doesn't have a cell phone." And I thought, really? Of all the people I first asked? So that was my feedback on that. But it was great. So thank you, staff, for putting those on. I know it's a lot of work too. PCLA, Parent Community Leadership Alliance, is planning 2 upcoming community educational events. One is education for candidates. There will be a candidate forum October 17th, Thursday, online, 6:30. And more will be shared. There is a draft flyer that they're putting together now with a QR code and link, and so you can also ask questions of the candidates. So it's basically the county commissioners and our legislators for that will serve in Oregon State. And then Wednesday, January 22nd, Community Conversations and PCLA will join for a School Budgeting 101, State of the District, Legislative Agenda, and PCLA Advocacy. So proud of this group and the work they're doing. Last, as your LPC for Clackamas Regional, there was an update. I just want to bring this to our board's attention. Maybe you saw it through OSBA email September 5th. The latest economic and revenue forecast was really quite good. It was more. We might have a kicker again. But our new OSBA president also said, and is speaking up very positively about the need to get the right budget for our schools. And there's a lot of work that still needs to be going on there. So that's my report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Director Dobson, if you're ready. I'm sorry, I know you're.
Yes, and I don't have too much. I was getting 3 children ready to start school. That's definitely where I spent most of my time. But we're very excited to have our first senior at Nelson and our first junior, our second is a junior there. So, and then we have an 8th grader at Happy Valley Middle. So really excited to see everything that's happening in those schools up close and personal this year. And excited for, what the kids are going to accomplish and where they will go next. I've had a few interesting conversations in the last month that I'll share here. One was with several members of the state legislature's education committee about the need to remove the special education cap while also holding, schools and districts accountable for not over diagnosing students with IEPs. And it looks like we're going to have a really interesting legislative session coming up in 2025 for education with the governor's renewed interest in funding and the approximately $500 million adjustment that she's looking at making to the public education budget in Oregon. So lots of interesting conversations being had, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with that as well. And then another couple of conversations of interest were with the Oregon State Firefighters Association and the Oregon Hospitals Association, both of whom are not just interested, but desperate for workforce pipeline to open up and to increase every opportunity that they possibly can to connect with students. And so we're having those conversations as well, in the hopes that these kind of partnerships will open up opportunities for the kids, as well as fulfill some needs in our community. So that was my month. That's my report.
Thank you. And Director Kemp on the phone?
Yeah, I've been working out of state a lot lately, but when I was last home, I was able to go to the Rex Putnam Milwaukee High School football game at Rex Putnam, and that was good to see an event and see both schools, both teams, as well as see the campus again, and then see they had dance team performances from both schools at the halftime, I remember doing that and working with my daughter at Clackamas High School dance team. So it was a fun night, and to see all the kids back, I think it was one of the first games of the season. So the field was filled with younger kids too, and it was good to see all that excitement and hear the fun. That's all I really had time for when I was on my last trip home. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Director McVeigh?
I don't have a lot to add. Committee work has started. So we had our first benefits committee on Monday. It was very painful because it was PTSD for me because I had to do it online. So hour and a half of looking at a screen was horrific. And then the work around the OSA appeals board and the FDAB, the federal fair dismissals appeal board work has started, unfortunately. But that's all I have.
That is plenty. Thank you. And Director Benaloga?
Yes, thank you, Chair Way. I was fortunate enough to sit with Chair Way at convocation in this room before school started. And once again, Curtis will spare no length. He will wear wigs. He will wear mustaches. He will get kids to be involved, and it was just a wonderful video, and there was lots of positivity in the room, and it was funny and heartwarming, and it was great to see our kids. So thank you for that. I went to some back to school nights, Happy Valley Middle School, Sojourner Linwood, and I went to Milwaukee El Puente on the wrong night, but I was in the parking lot. I wrote it down and I went on the wrong afternoon, but I did go. Yeah, I got a half a point for that one. So Happy Valley Middle School, it was very interesting. One of the things, I had a great conversation with the mentor of their affinity groups there, and they're really working on the positive way to start the school year and getting kids involved with the affinity groups. And it was wonderful to see the sixth graders and some of the families coming up to sign up to get interested and to get involved with those affinity groups. So I thought that was great. Also benefit as well. I always feel like I'm just listening, but it's so thoughtful how everyone in the room really tries to make sure that we are preparing for the benefit fair, which is coming up, and really taking that seriously and making sure that all of the employee groups understand and know what their options are. So there's a lot of thoughtful processes that go into that. I also attended the NCEF meeting, our North Clackamas Education Foundation, as they get ready for their event that is coming up in October. I believe it's October 14th. Building Bridges Luncheon. And I also attended the PCLA meeting where we are planning the forum. So we certainly hope to see all of you there online. It will be an online forum, and we welcome everyone to come and listen and learn.
Thank you. And for my report, just to piggyback off what Vice Chair Benaloga said, attended the convocation with her, and just it was held in this room, and it was just buzzing, just with excitement and lots of caffeine and lots of bright blue puzzle T-shirts that I wore proudly as I walk around my neighborhood, and so that was wonderful. And yes, and big shout out to everyone here who was involved, but also Curtis Long and his team for making me look relatively smooth and polished on the TV or on the video as I was reading my remarks. I attended a couple of open houses as well, Ardenwald, Sunnyside, Bilquist, and I know some of them were all happening in the same day, same time, and so it was like 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here, and we also have several more that are happening later this month as well. So I know that I have some that I still would like to go towards the end of the month. But that is all I have for my report. And I know that committees, as Director McVeigh have mentioned, are starting for board members. So please look out for your emails and your invites from Donna to respond to those so that we can have at least one board member attend those committee meetings. And with that being said, thank you for the board reports, and I will now turn it over to our next agenda item, number 4, quarterly financial report. And now I would like to welcome Executive Director of Finance and Business Services, Matt McCara. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, board members. Tonight, I would like to share some highlights from the financial report for the quarter ending June 30th, 2024. This is also the final quarter of the 23-24 fiscal year, though I should point out that the numbers that are being presented tonight are preliminary and subject to change during the audit. The projected ending fund balance is forecasted to be at 25.79%, or approximately $84.8 million. Forecasted revenue is expected to exceed the budget by $21.1 million. This is primarily resulting from the state school fund is expected to surpass the budget by a net amount of $15.2 million. The biggest factors leading into this are a couple different things. The initial budget was finalized prior to the state school fund for the biennium moving to 10.2. Our original budget was based on 9.9. There was about a $3 million of additional funding that came as a result of that was not included in the budget. We've also seen North Clackamas's teacher experience factor increase pretty substantially as we're able to recruit more experienced teachers. It also reflects the impact of our enrollment gains last year, and also not just the modest enrollment gain that we had, but also it's impacted by the enrollment declines in other districts. The share of our share of the pie increases as the others decline as well. It also includes one area where we were down that factors into the state school fund is property tax revenue was down $2.9 million from the budget, though that is offset in the state school fund formula with increased state support. Revenue from investment income is expected to surpass budget by $4.3 million. That is the result of a couple different factors. The fact that we do have reserves that we are able to invest, and the conditions for investment have been pretty favorable over the last couple of years. So we've been benefiting from that combination. And then revenues from other services and fees, such as grant indirect charges, are anticipated to finish about $1.4 million over budget. Moving on to expenditures, total expenditures are forecasted to finish under budget by $9.7 million, with decreases primarily in the following categories. Salaries and benefits are expected to finish $13.1 million under, though this is also partially offset by a forecasted increase in purchase services of $5.9 million. And part of that is about $4.2 million of that is increased sub costs that after we made the change to utilizing a third-party service for filling substitutes, those expenses were now classified as a purchase service rather than in salaries and benefits where they had originally been budgeted. Supplies and materials are expected to finish $2.2 million under. And the biggest chunk of that is the timing of some textbook and computer hardware purchases. Finally, as part of the financial report, you have the investment report showing the type of investment, maturity date, and the fund for which the investment is held. The district is working to maximize investment in the local government investment pool, as well as other short-term investments opportunities, and we continue to maintain healthy reserves and cash flow. I'd be happy to answer any questions should you have any.
Thank you so much, Matt. Board members, do you have any questions? No? Okay. Thank you. We will go ahead and move forward. So next agenda item, budget committee vacancies. This is also Matt McCara who will be talking about this.
Thank you. The second item I'm bringing forward is an item for discussion on Budget Committee vacancies. There are 2 positions on the Budget Committee where the terms have expired. The term for position 13 expired on June 30, 2024. The member that was in this position served as the representative from the Educational Equity Committee. This member remains a part of the Educational Equity Committee and has expressed an interest in reappointment to the Budget Committee. The term for position 14 also expired on June 30, 2024. The member that had been in this position completed their term and has not expressed an interest in reappointment. At the next board meeting, the board will take action to declare the positions vacant and approve the process for filling them. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Matt. I want to look to board members first, and I do have just some questions around the process. So just looking at the proposed timeline for this, so we would still be interviewing folks on November 7th as proposed. Is that right?
I don't have that that timeline in front.
Oh, okay. That's in the notes and in the board book is that, I believe.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure we're looking at the same timeline. And I guess my question would be, with the reappointment of the person who would still like to continue, how would that process look like for them? Would they still have to reapply?
I don't believe that that members who have served on, and I'll verify this, but my understanding is that it's within the board's purview to reappoint the member without them reapplying.
Okay.
And I will verify that.
Okay, great. And I know that in years past, we as a board have interviewed folks and have gone through application questions and all of that. And for folks who are listening online, our budget committee is really made up of outstanding, stellar volunteers in our community, be it community members or parents or, caregivers, people who really just care about public education and want to see us being good stewards of our finances. So if you are curious as to how you can get on our budget committee, there's more information online. But for the purposes of today, we are just having a discussion on our process and our timeline. And so you've answered my question, so thank you. And yes, Vice Chair Benaloga has a question.
I just had one quick question. We did have a discussion about increasing the scoring, the rating, so that if there was a lot of interest, that it gave us, that there was more delineation between candidates. And this still says rating 1 to 3. Is that something that we can still discuss before we actually start interviewing? Okay, excellent. Thank you.
The actual process will be approved by the board in the next meeting, so you'll have the opportunity to make any changes to the
Okay,
process
excellent. Thank you.
if you choose to.
Director Bauer?
Chairway, I know don't remember everything from year to year, but it seems like we had a committee of 1 or 2 that reviewed the questions and always made some changes. And even I would propose talking a little bit too about the process of the interview. I think it's best, and when I spoke with OSBA in the summer about the interview, I think they should be one at a time. I don't think it was really uncomfortable having others, be able to, it's public, open, but to the public, the interviews, but to have 2 candidates in with, anyway, I think you know what I'm talking about. So I would propose you and the chair discuss that at least, or whatever, however you want to handle that.
Thank you for raising that. I'd be happy to serve on a ad hoc committee to help with reviewing some of the questions and our procedures a little bit more in depth. I know that Director Dobson actually served on the budget committee as well and has a lot of experience as well. And so, absolutely, I know that Superintendent James is taking down notes, so thank you. And yes, happy to, between now and when we formalize things, take a deeper dive into this.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, well, I don't think we have any more questions for you, Matt, but thank you so much for presenting just this really important information to the community.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have a discussion, and this is on our board protocols and operating agreements. Board, you will see in your packet items that we have discussed at our last governance session in August. If you recalled that, we have that here. There were some things that we all agreed to were going to be some minor changes and fixes to our current operating agreements and protocols. And so this is really just a time for discussion. If you would like to reflect on any of those changes, you're more than welcome to provide some feedback. And for people in the community, members who are listening in, this is a standard protocol that we do every year towards the beginning of the school year. Is we as a board, we want to be functional and we want to be able to work together, of course honoring all of our different very diverse viewpoints that we have as individuals. But again, when we think about our mission and our vision and our strategic plan, we also want to make sure that we are respectful of each other and the decisions that we make together as a board. So this is really board work, and also something that is important to revisit every year. Okay, and Director Kemp, if you have any thoughts, if not, totally okay, but I just didn't want to forget you.
No, thanks for letting me. I didn't have anything specific. No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And this was, again, all hands on deck. We looked at this in depth at the August governance session here. So seeing no questions, or Director Bauer?
Well, thank you for doing this, and I like your proposed language about attendance. And informing the chair and Donna, as soon as possible when you can't make it, because being in, and I said this before, but being in that position can get quite stressful at the end, and you need, to have enough to do your business. So, also, I just want to remind people too about attendance at committees, and I think I had heard you might have another way that we can keep track of that or inform online, Donna, a little easier, because we need at least one person, at those meetings. And I'm repeating myself again, but I think it's so important to be available at pre-board. I learn something every single time. And, in these protocols, no surprises are here too. So, that's why, not really. I mean, there's so much to learn though, and going over and having the chance to discuss things directly with our superintendent is so helpful.
Thank you. Okay, we are at I believe this is our last agenda item of the evening, construction bid award. And let's see, this is the Sabin-Schellenberg Professional Technical Center South Campus Parking Lot Addition. And I welcome our Operations Director, Teresa Neff Webster, who will introduce our wonderful guest.
Thank you, Chair. So again, this is a discussion and action item for the Sabin-Schellenberg Professional Technical Center South Campus Parking Lot Addition. And I am going to welcome the conversation to be turned to Special Project Director Cindy Detchen, who knows all about it in a way that I don't.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. It's exciting news. We're able to squeeze out just a tiny bit more money out of the 2016 capital construction bond as we finish up our 162nd Avenue project on Scouters that was delayed due to some mitigation and some county planning needs. We found ourselves in a position where we had a little bit of money. And if you've ever been at a professional development meeting or any kind of a community meeting at the South Campus, during the school day, you recognize that there is no parking. And so we are adding considerable parking on the backside of that structure. So this is, went out to bid. And you see the award there. So we are asking you this evening to please award to Western United Civil Group for a total award not to exceed $387,500. That includes a bid alternate as well. We wanted to make sure we can get some lighting on that project and then move a utility shed that's there at the same time. Happy to answer questions if you have any.
Great, thank you, and welcome back. Just for a little bit, though. Board, do we have any questions or discussion on this?
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the Saban-Schellenberg South Campus Parking Lot Addition project to Western United Civil Group, LLC, for a total award not to exceed $387,500. This includes the base bid as well as additive alternate number 3.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Or
Okay, let's see. So it is properly moved by Director McVeigh and seconded by Director Bauer. And I now call for a roll call vote on the motion since there is money involved. And so we will go down our list. Director Bauer,
aye.
Director Dobson,
Aye.
Director Kemp,
Aye.
Director McVeigh,
Aye.
Director Benaloga,
Aye.
and Director Way is also an aye. The motion passes with a vote of 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And everyone, I know that we are nearing towards the end of our board meeting, and so I just wanted to share some words of inspiration and also hope as we look forward to this upcoming school year. Many of you maybe know of this outstanding individual who is just a national renowned speaker. Her name is Amanda Gorman, and I just want to really lift up her words because she is the youngest inaugural poet in our U.S. history, as well as an award-winning writer. And she's just done so many accomplishments in her just short life. Currently, she is a part of a program that supports Youth Poets Laureate in more than 60 cities, regions, and states nationally. She's the recipient of the Poets and Writers Barnes and Noble Writers for Writers Award, and the youngest board member of 826 National, which is the largest youth writing national network in the United States. And so I just want to quickly, just before we end, read her words from a poem that she wrote called In This Place, parentheses, an American Lyric. And this is just an excerpt from this. And I hope that you are filled with hope as we start the new year. So an excerpt from Amanda Gorman. Hope, we must bestow it like a wick in the poet, so it can grow, lit, bringing with it stories to rewrite, the story of a Texas city depleted but not defeated, a history written that need not be repeated, a nation composed but not yet completed. There is a poem in this place, a poem in America, a poet in every American who rewrites this nation, who tells a story worthy of being told on this minnow of an earth. To breathe hope into a palimpsest of time, a poet in every American who sees that our poem penned doesn't mean our poems end. There's a place where this poem dwells. It is here, it is now, in the yellow song of dawn's bell, where we write an American lyric we are just beginning to tell. Thank you. And with that, it is now 7:59 p.m. and this public meeting of the North Clackamas School District Board of Directors is now adjourned.